then to using it as well for generating videos. So yesterday we did dive a bit into generating images with it. So let's go ahead and dive a bit more into it. Like you can see from the previous page, you just clicked create account. If you don't have an account already, that should help you set up an account. So here is where you click in. It does use the Google login, which auto logs you in if you're already logged into Google on your browser, or you can select login with Google to create the account. Yesterday we had about 7,000 credits, but I've gone on to wipe those all out because I had some designs that I did last night as well after that particular stream. So to start with, let's go here in the left menu to kind of give you a deep dive into what the features do. This is where you see your credits. Again, here you can see our tokens are down from 8,500 to 263. That means we've used about 8,200 of them. How this essentially works is that you have these tokens that you then get to pay for every generation that you come up with. And that can be essentially an image, or you can be upscaling your image, or changing it to motion. Library is again just where you have most of your generations going. And you also have a follower feed if you make your generations public. I personally don't make my generations public. And you have the liked feed if you have any things that you've liked before, and then the collections. Here in the image creation, that is essentially then the image creation tool. I'll just go ahead and empty this because I was using this for my personal projects. So I'll just go ahead and remove this in a bit. But if you can look here towards, all right, I was using this for a reference, so I'll clear this as well so that we can start from scratch. So let's start out with using flow state. So what is the flow state? Flow state is a new feature that was integrated into Leonardo AI, and what it really focuses on is making sure that it allows you to use less tokens per image generated. So this is really good for beginners if you're really still trying to find your creative style. Definitely would recommend that. And the other one is the classic mode. This one tends to use more tokens per image generated. So I would suggest using that once you have played around with Leonardo AI for a bit. So let's give this a little try. We're going to say, okay, generate cinematographic scene. And it's just a simple prompt here, but there's a feature that I want to show on this side. This is essentially one, you can either create a random prompt, but here is improve your prompt, which means it's going to look at the prompt that you've already written here, and then it's going to suggest how you could potentially improve it to actually get what you're looking for. And then you can go on and read through this and make changes where you think it will be great to make changes. But since this is just for a demo, I'm going to skip that part and dive into the generate. And maybe I could read what it had here. So I made this dilapidated urban landscape. A lone figure stands tall and defiant against the backdrop of decaying buildings and graffiti-covered walls. The person's stated claws speak to a difficult journey. The weathered face tells of hardship and resilience. The poignant scene, resembling a striking photograph captured in black and white, captures the essence of urban struggle with raw emotion and unfiltered honesty. Every detail is meticulously portrayed, from the worn-out shoes to the determined gaze of the subject, creating a mesmerizing image that lingers in the viewer's mind long after they've looked away. So you can see that it suggests that it is best to describe your photo in detail as much as you possibly can. And here we can go on to see. Now I want you to pay attention here to the credits right over here. And this is again going back into the usage of flow state. One, there is the option for having your private mode on, which means whatever you generate is going to be viewable only by you. If you turn this off, the whole Leonardo AI community is going to see your designs. And then there is this one here which says scroll to generate. If you have this clicked on, it means every time that you go on to scroll down, more images are going to be generated, right, from the prompt that you that we started with. And notice here how the credits already are reducing. So here you can see it's 228. If you scroll further, which means you're saying, hey, I don't like what is on top, generate a bit more. Here, you're going to look at these credits here reducing. So it was 228, now it's 219, which means for every 9 new photos generated, 9 credits were taken away. Since we've had enough of this, we're just going to turn this off. I suggest turning this off because it is usually great to just have maybe 3 to choose from. And if you don't like the 3, then you can already tweak it to come up with something better. Now you see if we go on to scroll further down, it does ask us to load more images before it can go on to generate them automatically. This is great because one, it saves you your credits, so you can actually use them for creating stuff that you actually like. I'll just scroll back up now so that we can look at how we can edit stuff that we've already created. So here there is this feature that asks us if we want more of our creations to look like this, right? So after you describe this, if this was the kind of fill that you wanted to go for, then you would come and select this one. Now, what happens when you select this one? It uses this as the context for which it's going to create the other designs. So you can see here now that whatever designs come afterwards look exactly like that. They have that that blue hue sort of background, and here you can see these creatures and everything else. Again, if you still want to follow this and dive more towards that, you just click more like this, and it's going to generate more. This is really great because what it does is it allows you to, as you continue to prompt, it allows you to then have your own unique backgrounds and styles that you can then go on to actually explain a bit better or generate generate videos of, and then be able to combine them to make longer videos. So we're going to start trying a little bit, playing around with video generation. So this is available in the flow state and also the classic mode. I'm not going to use the classic mode, which I typically use because I want to give you some time to play around with the flow state. Let's go ahead here and click generate video. And how this works is, again, we have the movement strength. Movement strength essentially means how much movement would you like to see within your video. So you can either reduce it, which means it's just going to be slight movements, or you could increase it, and that means there's going to be a lot of movement. Typically, I don't like putting it all the way to 10. I like keeping it at 8, but feel free to play around with it and see what works for you. It does use a lot of credits though for creating videos. So if you're going to be considering using Leonardo AI for creating videos, I would suggest opting in for a higher tier that gives you maybe unlimited credits to use. That way you have all the flexibility to play around with it as much as you want to. All right, okay, it's taking a little longer than expected. So just wait for a little bit. Yeah, that's taking longer than it should be taking to generate that one. But what I would have gone ahead to do, and I don't know if this is a network issue where I'm at right now, but what I would have gone on to do is it would essentially have gone on to generate a video where either something in the back uh, from what is already existing in this photo is moving, either the character themselves or whatever is in the back. Um, there we go. Looks like it's loading now. So let's see here. Did it go on to generate the video from what we requested? Probably not. Let's go on and prompt it again. So okay, yeah, it's taking a little longer. So in the meantime, we can again just be looking at the settings here in the left. Here you can see the image dimensions, which essentially means you get to decide how big you want your images to be. You can set the ratios of 2 to 3, 1 to 1, 16 to 9 being the typical uh, screen of your laptop. If you want to opt in for generating then more of, for example, Reels, then you could go to the more option where you could set the dimensions to 9 by 16, which is the font screen on average to have that. And then right here you have other styles. You can change the lighting, and then you can also change the theme of the colors. I'm gonna go ahead and okay, there you can see it load. If you click more, this is the screen that you would see pop up, and you get to decide what platform you're creating for essentially, and you get you just click. If you just go on and click here 16 to 9, then it changes the size to a desktop size, and 9 to 16 changes it to mobile. Square is 1 to 1. I'm going to go ahead and close a few pages on my side so that we can see if it is a little bit faster because it's a bit slow right now. Just bear with me a moment. Okay. All right. Done. Close a couple of pages. Let's see. All right, going to switch back to the classic mode because that's a little bit easier to work to play around with, and we're going to see. So back to the picture that we were playing around with. We did want to change this into a video. Let's see what it goes on to generate here in a couple of moments. But as it's doing that, there's a section that I wish for you to look at, and this is the one that's often in the top left corner right here. So here we see Phoenix 1.0. This is one of the latest models or presets, and it's really good for generating things like thumbnails because it does have a better visualization of text content within your designs. It makes fewer errors as compared to the other models. So if you're creating any design that has text, I'll definitely recommend this. But there's other models that are probably much better. Let's go ahead and reload this whole screen because it's really taking long and that's not fun. But yes, there is other models within here. If you go on to click on the tab, you could essentially go on to see models like cinematographic Kino, which is dedicated to creating cinematics. So you have cinematic Kino, you have lifelike vision right here. If you're interested in portraits, then you have this one. If you're more into graphic design, then this would be a great one for you. If you'd like to create anime designs, then definitely you dive a bit more into this one. This is more for illustrations, and this is for real life stock photography, essentially. So it tries to make it as human-like or natural as it potentially be. So we were using phonics before. Let's go ahead and continue using that. But as you watch this one, feel free to play around with any that you like. You can click anime and use that one. So let's go back to our design that's loaded up right here. So now we can see this design is starting to move, right? So you have a little bit of, let's see if we can expand it a little bit, right? So you can see the background is moving and the character is essentially looking around at the surrounding, or more like the camera angle is shifting a little bit around the character. And you can go on to play around with this as much as you would like, right? The biggest question that I often hear is, how do you then go on to actually make sure that you have a full length video from this? Of course, just like it is shooting a video, it is much easier for you to select scene by scene and focus on one scene at a time, right? So if you're going to tell a story, it's important that then you go on to continue tweaking your scenes, right? Um, here there is definitely here there is the settings for the number of images that you want to generate, and this is if you're using classic mode. We've switched from flow state to classic mode. Here it prompts you to ask how many images you want to generate every single time, right? So if you select one, it's only going to be one. If you're working on any particular scene and you want to have a couple of transitions, you can also prompt that within the text that you essentially enter up here. And then you can have variations of maybe the camera angle placements and maybe have the character walking towards something, right? And so you go on later to then essentially turn all of those images to videos, and then you go to a video software of your choice, and then you start putting all those pieces together. So this is generally good for planning all your pieces and putting them together and going on to create the final piece. As we do that, here is another feature that I'd like for you to maybe pay attention to and start playing around with a lot more whenever you have the time. This is so you have the option of generating fast. Fast is not really high quality, but it definitely loads faster and allows you to experiment a lot. Then there's quality, definitely a higher resolution, and then the ultra. This is probably what you should be using for your production ready content. But as you can see here in the top right of the screen as well, it uses more tokens depending on the quality that you are generating. So it's again, for beginners, it's always advisable to start with the lowest resolutions, just play around and know exactly how to use all these presets. Okay, so let's play around with something different. We're going to look at some of these features. So image to image, this is more of a creative interpretation. So you can put in one image and it goes on to generate an image close to that, right? So it's definitely going to be different. And then you have the content reference. This essentially means that you want to keep the content or the context the same and just change a few things, right? So just like it is here in the photos, you can see here it is now orange. It's a bit grayish, but now on the right it's orangish, and even at the top the colors are a bit warm within the room. And then the style reference essentially means for whatever design that you're working with, the colors are going to be pretty much the same, right? So let us say this was the brush from the initial one and you were creating this bottle, right? You can see the colors is simply transitioning over. So you click this one. When you click this one and then you all right, let's give this a try. Perhaps it's much easier. But before we go into that, I don't know why it's not loading here again, but these all have already been released. Hopefully on your side, you should be able to load those. But character reference essentially allows you to be able to upload a character, right? You could upload your personal photo within the prompt, and whatever generation that you're gonna get after that is gonna look a bit like you. So this is great if you're actually trying to create videos where you have an individual character throughout your whole videos. You could use that. and then edge to image, and essentially it allows you to be able to get the main piece within any graphic and have designs implemented around its edges, right? And then pose to image, same thing. You get a pose and you generate something that has a pose close to it. And then text image input, again, that is essentially self-explainable, text in white text on a black background, and we'll use it to guide your image generation. So depth to image, this is more applicable towards things like architecture, if you definitely enjoy playing with that, and that is to help with things like lighting and also essentially adding a bit more depth, maybe to seeing stuff that's inside the houses as well, or maybe the texture of the designs. But for now, let's play around with we said a style reference, so let's try playing around with this one first. So we're going to click confirm, and we're going to come to this. Let's select this design here, right? Let's play around with this one. So we'll let it load, and then we could say, so use this design to what? To generate more God and knowledge like visualizations, right? Again, you could name it whatever you like. I just came up with this on the go, and then I'll just come down here and improve prompt because I don't have much time. And then here in regards to the style, again, this is a style reference, so whatever is generated is going to look a little bit like that. Here you can decide how much you want it to look like that. It could be low. Low means that it's going to look just a little bit like it. Mid is somehow. High, that means it's going to be a whole lot like it. So let's go around and play with mid for now, right? Actually, yeah, let's play around with mid. So we'll go ahead and generate this one and see how it's going to look like. Now you can see that it's charging 50 credits here because in the lower section, we actually selected about 8 generations. So if you want to lower the credits that you are spending on it, then you can go ahead and lower the number to, for example, 1, and that will make sure that you're only using fewer credits for it. So let's give it some time as it loads up. All right, so you can see the generations here are totally different from what we had before, right? And again, the whole style that we have right now is influenced by the image that we uploaded into the description or generative area here, and also all the descriptive text that accompanies it. Let us say we want to make changes to something that's already generated as well. We covered that a little bit yesterday, but it would be great to, again, cover a bit of it. If you've generated this and you want to add something here, maybe this one only generates like only females or masculine figures, you could go on and say generate. So here I'm going to lower it to 1 just to use fewer credits for demonstrative purposes. And so I'll come around here and say ensure to godlike figures in each, right? I will not dive into the whole sex symbology and all. Let's just generate this and see what is going to come up with. But even here, I think we had already like extra arms and stuff, which would have been great to work with. But let's wait for what we're gonna get from this one. And again, you could see I just did not write a whole lot in regards to the changes that are gonna be made. So uh, that's why you may be wondering, should I go on to write a lot of text just to describe the changes that I want to make? Of course, the more text, the more you can go on to describe it, the better. But I feel like just giving a general guideline of what you need is always a great start. So you can see here that we're already seeing two different figures. Again, these generations are pretty much almost exactly like what was already here below. And this is going to be the whole style that you're going to go on to create with. There's also this explicit sort of warning, which is great to kind of like already tag some designs that are probably going to be explicit, and maybe you don't want to use those. So it's great to just click to view what they are. If you feel good about them, then you can go ahead and use those in your designs. But yeah, with this, you should essentially already have a good understanding of how to essentially start from scratch and be able to create a design that you're really good you feel good about, and then you can go on to tweak it and customize it for your particular project. So let's try this. For example, um, so upscale. We haven't talked about upscaling, but as you can look at this one here, definitely the quality is all right. It's not. Um, it's not the best out there. So if you want to improve the quality of this because you're satisfied with what it is, you can go on to click upscale. Now what upscale does is that it goes on to improve the quality of this. So you can see here upscale strength. So do you want it in high or ultra? Um, and also you can decide whether you want it to be artistic or realistic, right? So let's say, for example, you want to move more to the realistic side, and there you have the multiplier of the upscaling. Maybe let's just play with 1.5 for now. Says close this model after commencing upscale. You could leave it on, you could turn it off. I'll just turn it off for now. So let's give it a moment as we leave it to upscale. In the meantime, let's switch back to this. We'll come back after. Okay, still logged out. Okay, so that would have shown me in the background. It's already finished upscaling, so we can go ahead and close this one. Okay, that doesn't really bring the one that I expected, but just give it a moment. All right, it probably should be in our designs. But for now, let's dive a bit more. Let's play around with generating a video from this one. Okay, let's give it that movement strength. Let's leave it at 25. Again, here it's always going to ask you if you need to keep this private or make it public. If you want to make it public or visible to other people using Leonardo, you can always tag this off. But again, if you definitely working on a project that you want to later on monetize, I always recommend for you to keep it on private. So let's create this. Again, that should technically be running in the background. Yeah, there we go. So the prior one for upscaling should have auto upscaled within this one. So that should be a higher resolution. But let's focus more on the video part here as well and see what we get. So as we have played around with the style reference, that is essentially what you can go on to use for other references as well. You can go on to add more images if you need more different styles as well. And we could make this a little longer. I'd planned on making it almost about 4 hours, but realistically, we've been able to cover most of what there is to cover. The rest of it is up to you as a creator to then go on. Okay, that's a quite a good warning, but it's up to you as a creator to go on and play around with it and see what you can be able to create with it. Definitely, though, if you have any questions, just feel free to share them down below, and we'll be happy to create future content answering any of the questions that you may have. But this is a sample video that was generated by that. Again, you can see backgrounds moving, and you can also go on to tweak it if you want the characters to be moving as well. So there you have it. That's essentially the first masterclass that we've had with regards to using the Leonardo AI tools. Let us know again if you'd like us to cover anything in particular for the next ones. We'll also need to be upscaling as we continue to work on other projects that we're working on. But yeah, just like we talked about earlier, if you wanted to create cinematic projects, then cinematic Kino is the best. If you wanted to create anime, then you would probably have to use that. So just as a last example, let's go on ahead and maybe use the anime preset just to have an idea of what that would look like. And again, the design, we're still kind of leaving it to the same style, but we want to see what major difference there is between the two different models and presets. Again, this is just for you to really start paying attention to the differences. So there you see, it's very, very different from the previous one. So it really remains up to you as a creator to decide what kind of vibe and feel you're looking for. Of course, you won't get it right with the first generations. It's going to be important for you to really decide what you want to work on. It's one thing I always recommend is starting with these ones and playing along with them. And even when you're already working on your projects, midway you can start switching styles to kind of see what they could have looked like if you were using a different preset. Definitely always remember to resize your content for exactly what you need it for. And you can always do all of that here. Remember to keep it in private mode if you are working on personal projects that you're probably looking to at monetizing later. And then for the number of images, absolutely great to make them more if you want more variety, but that means it's going to be a little bit more expensive for you as well. So have a good balance between in regards to how you approach that. And that should be it for our first masterclass regarding that. So again, looking forward to hearing back from you. Absolutely keep in touch for the future masterclasses as well. Bye-bye.